today's daily news is motivated by an article that spoke of a client booking a luxury accommodation, luxury room at one of the Disneyland properties in Florida. And this client was extremely upset at the fact that daily housekeeping is no longer being offered. We'll start and we'll talk about this just for a little minute. Now, since the start of the pandemic, I have had serious issues with properties across the world, basically making housekeeping an issue because of the pandemic. I have not been able to hear any studies, any responses, any significant data suggesting that providing housekeeping services would prolong, extend, or cause COVID-19 to affect clients staying in hotels. And this article really lent itself to the fact that, in my mind, this madness has got to stop. So in 2020, we did our COVID trip to a local property, and we were not permitted to be in the room while the room attendant did the cleaning. Okay, fine. We were new into the pandemic, persons didn't know what to expect, and so on. Now, later in 2020, we decided, let us test the systems internationally. And so, doing an international trip, the process throughout the airport, departing from MBJ and arriving at FLL, provided quite an insight. One of the first things that gripped me was the fact that there were fewer people traveling, and so the planes were empty. You could pick, choose, and refuse your seats. And the staff that worked the airlines were very, very gracious. They're very, very happy that we were coming out and we were back traveling. Now, upon arriving at the resort, it was not a resort in Hollywood, it's just a regular hotel. Mark you, we got a nice room. We got a 1-bedroom suite, compliments of the property. One of the perks of being an agent who's actually actively doing business, because there is a difference. And I will speak to it without apology. There are those who I like to call pop-up agencies. They just come on the scene because somebody told them that being a travel advisor provides perks and you get a lot of free trips and free travel. Thank goodness the industry has wised up, and there's no free lunch really. Everything is performance based. Yes, I did say the bad word, performance based. So as a result, those who do the work get the perks. Moving right along. Having gotten a nice upgrade to a 1-bedroom suite with a kitchenette, loved it, and this was at the Hampton Inn in Hollywood, Florida. We realized that the upgraded breakfast, it's usually an upgrade from a continental breakfast with fruits and yogurts and eggs and all of the other things that make breakfast make sense, had suddenly been reduced to a goodie bag. And you could come down to the front desk, pick up your goodie bag that hopefully would have a fruit, some very sweet pastry, maybe a Danish or a bagel, and of course the coffee dispenser was right there as well. And of course the front desk people would be happy to give you your creamer from a pump. Okay, fine. This was an exploratory trip to see how the world is handling the COVID situation, and so we were not fussy. We were just learning. But what was interesting was that housekeeping also had to be requested. Found that very strange. But I will not spend all day talking about that. except to say that standards differ. Throughout the pandemic, we have been to several properties across the island here and internationally. And the standards vary. It's not one size fits all. So my big question would be, what's the difference between the property offering housekeeping daily, those who you have to request it, and those who pretty much don't really do it anymore because of the pandemic? Just a question. I'd love to get some answers on that because I'm not seeing the rationale. Rates are trending upwards, not downwards. And if I go to a hotel, one of the things I do not expect is to have to make my own bed and clean my own room. I'm just saying, I don't expect to do it. I don't want to do it. And one of the joys of going out and returning to my room is that it is made up brand new as though I had just checked in. But of course, it's not my intention to focus on the negatives. The intention of today's daily news is to speak about a property that has never failed to deliver. And I'm speaking about the Wingate by Wyndham. This is in Orlando at Hazeltine National Drive. I met the sales manager for this property at an event in about 2010. I was invited to the property. Come, take a look, have a free night, the typical. And that I did. I have done business with this property, particularly for my school trips, and it has delivered all the time. And so in this last trip to Orlando, we had the opportunity of staying at several properties, both on the International Drive scene, closer to Universal Orlando Studios, and airport hotels. And I must give mention to the Ramada Suites, which is also in the airport district. But my favorite property continues to be Wyndham by Wingate. And there are those who might say I have some biases. Okay, maybe I do. The general manager is Jamaican. Okay, hands down, I've just got to put that in there because she is an amazing woman. She is very caring, very attentive. Her attention to her clients, second to none. And just being there, just being on her property, you feel a sense of being home. And so, even though we got an opportunity to enjoy the Ramada Suites, which is a sister property, and it's a larger property in terms of the room sizes, for me, I still preferred Wingate. And I'm tussling between the two because I do want to paint a picture. For Ramada Suites, there was a living room of sorts upon entering, which was quite ample. There was a sink and there was a little kitchenette. Only thing missing would have been a stovetop, but there was a microwave for those who believe that you can do everything in a microwave. So you could say we had a kitchen, you had a nice raised island which doubled as a sitting area. Nice for me because I was able to put up my laptop and get some work done. And of course, what was a very comfortable sofa turned out to be a folded out double bed. Beautiful. Mattress was nice and thick, and should we have needed to sleep on it, we know that there would have been no compromise in how that sleep experience would have been. Our double-bedded room provided enough comfort, and I was pretty happy. The sink for the bathroom, however, sat just across from the beds, and so within the bathroom was only the commode and the bathtub. little odd in terms of the setup, but hey, not gonna complain. But I must tell you this, and I'm gonna do just a slight comparison. The warm breakfast that was provided both by Ramada Suites and Wyndham, the Wingate by Wyndham, is included every day for every client. And that will always be a pull factor. Now, in contrast, we did a few nights at the Hilton Garden Inn. And it's one of these things. I guess you either have to love Hilton or hate Hilton. We've stayed at enough. I am a Hilton Rewards member, and so I'm entitled to the early check-in, late check-out. My points accumulate with my stays, which can be ultimately used towards free stays and all of those wonderful things. But at that property, breakfast came at a cost. It was all you could eat, but then how much do you eat at breakfast? So it's a wonderful gimmick. Try not to use words that are off-putting, but yeah, I don't know. I was very, very happy when it was time for me to check out. Now, anybody who knows me knows I love hotels. And when I look forward to checking out of a hotel, not a good sight. Not a good fit for me anyway. So, as I was hotel shopping for several groups we were building as we put together our 2022-2023 shopping and incentives group, along with our cruising departures from Orlando, Port Canaveral to be exact, we wanted to find the best fit for our client stay. And certainly the Hilton Garden Inn is not one of them. On the flip side, however, we did see home style properties that would sleep up to 20 people. And these are the typical developments that have been turned into Airbnbs, but which as agents we can also book directly, and they were phenomenal. These particular ones were themed with the Disney experience, so the characters from Frozen, the entire presentation against all of the Disney experiences were right there, and that's right there in Kissimmee, close to the outlet malls, close to iDrive, close to where the action is. So we have been successful in identifying wonderful properties within that area, and so the future is looking great. 2022-2023 in Orlando, Florida has got to be what we offer for our clients. And so I'm going to end this presentation just saying that all hotels are not created equal. And irregardless of what you say, if we're going to do a hotel, the thought, the premise, the expectation still remains that when I leave my room for my day's activities and return, housekeeping is a must. This is Sheri. We are on the move, getting ready to take you to the world. Ciao for now.